Okay, so for now, we will continue with some examples for the shear stresses in beams. Okay, okay. So the problem, the figure shows the cross-section of a beam that carries vertical shear force V equals to 12 kips. Determine the maximum shear stress on this section. Okay. So again, to solve for the maximum shear stress, we will be having here shear equals to VQ all over I and then B. Okay. So we do not know kung ano yung Q, okay, and then the I. So alam lang natin meron na tayong V, no? So ito na yung ating V, which is the 12 kips. Okay, unahin muna natin to solve yung ating moment of inertia. Okay, so the moment of inertia, since this is a cross-section, wala tayong alam na formula para makuha kagad yung cross-section nito. Okay, so pwede natin siyang hati-hatiin. Okay, I will try to cut it, depende kung paano nyo i-cut, pero ako pinaka madali sigurong cut ito, no? Okay, so I will cut here and I will cut here. Okay, so I have here the area 1, the area 2, and then the area 3. Okay, now bago tayo makakuha ng moment of inertia, kailangan alam natin yung cross-section centroid. Okay, so pinakamadali niyan, magbe-base na lang ako dito sa baba. Okay, I will have that from there. Okay, then hahanapin natin yung pinaka-bar Y. Okay, so sabi natin to solve for the centroid, solving for centroid mula sa baba. Okay, so we have here the total area, okay, and then multiply it by the bar Y equals to summation of the area I and then multiply it the Y I, wherein the I is the number of sections. So ibig sabihin, this would become equal to area 1 Y1 plus area 2 Y2 plus area 3 Y3. Okay, nasan ba yung mga areas na yon? Nasan ba yung mga Y na yon? Okay, so ito yung area 1 ko. So nandito yung aking cross section, nandito aking centroid, gitnang gitna, no? Ito gitna rin ito, ito gitna rin ito. Okay, so it means from this, ito yung kanyang Y3. Okay, and then Y2 mula dito. Okay, mula dyan sa gitna. Okay, yan yung aking Y2. Ito, mula dito sa gitna nito, ito yung aking Y1. Okay, so nasan yon? Itong Y3 ko, kalahati ng 7.5. Okay, where's my calculator? Kalahati ng 7.5. So that's 3.75. So I will have here 3.75. Okay. Itong para sa area 2, so I have here 7.5 plus kalahati ng 1.2. So 7.5 plus kalahati ng 1.2. So that is around 8.1. So I have here 8.1. Dito, 7.5 plus 1.2 plus kalahati ng 7.5. 7.5 plus 1.2 plus 7.5 all over 2. So that's 12.45. Okay? So, yung total area, kunin natin yung mga areas, ano? So, area 1. So, ang area 1 ko, sure ako, that is equals to 2 inches by 7.5. So, yung area 2, so that would become equal to 1.2. Ito, 3 plus 1.2 plus 3 multiplied it by 1.2. And then I have here the area 3. So, that would become equals to 1.2 by 7.5. So, you will be having here the areas. So, yung una, 2 times 7.5. So, that's 15. Okay. And then, this one is 3 plus 1.2 plus 3 times 1.2. So, that's 8.64. And then, you will be having 1.2 by 7.5. So, you will be having here 9. Okay. So, ang total area natin, so that would become equal to 15 plus 8.64 plus 9. So, the total area is 32.64 inches square. Okay? So, that, pwede na akong kumuha ng aking centroid. So, Y bar would become equal to, I will now have the area 1, which is 15, multiplied it by the Y1, which is 12.45. Plus the area 2, which is 8.64, multiplied it by the Y2, which is 8.1. 1. And lastly, I will now have the area 3, which is 9, multiplied it by 3.75. Okay? All over the total area, no? So, i-divide ko by the total area. So, that's 32.64. So, I now have the bar y equal to, so that's 15 times 12.45 plus 8.64 times 8.1 plus 9 times 3.75 divided by 32.64. So I have here 8.899 ano, or 8.9 inches. So ayan na, 8.90, oops, mukhang 8.90 inches. Okay, nasan yon? Mula 7.5 plus 1.2, ilan ba yun? 7.5 plus 1.2, 8.7 lang. So, ibig sabihin, mula dito sa line na to, 8.7 lang. Eh, yung y ko is 8.9. Okay, so somewhere here, nandito yung aking centroid. Okay, so I will try to have that. Somewhere here, nandito yung aking centroid. Okay, nandun yung aking bar y. And that's around 8.9 inches. Okay? So, kapag may bar y na ako, pwede na akong kumuha ng, moment of inertia. Okay? So, sa moment of inertia, kailangan alamin natin kung nasaan yung ating mga original na centroid. Una, nandito yung centroid ng 1. Okay? Ito yung centroid ng 2 at ito yung centroid ng 3. Okay? Kailangan makuha natin ano yung mga distances niyan mula doon sa centroid ng buong cross-section. Okay? So, what we will do, okay? Pili tayo dito ng kulay na ayan. What we will do is, mula dito, alamin natin to. Okay? I will have at D1. And then, mula dito ulit, papunta doon. Iyon yung aking D2. And then, mula dito hanggang doon. Oops. Iyon yung aking D3. Para saan yon? Iyon yung para sa transfer. So, it means, yung mga old centroid ng kada section, hindi nagko-coincide doon sa centroid ng whole cross-section. So, we need to transfer the moment of inertia. Okay? So, by moment of inertia, okay, so I will now have here, okay, so I will now have the IXX, no? So, para to denote that this is the composite sections. Ibig sabihin, compose siya ng iba't ibang cross-section. So, unahin natin. Ang formula natin, di ba, summation tayo ng IX plus AD squared or AY squared, ano? So, distance na lang kasi di ang ginamit ko eh. Okay? So, para sa area 1, okay, ito yung area 1 ko. Okay? So, ang kanyang IX is BH cube all over 12. Okay? So, BH cube all over 12. Okay? Plus, I will now have the ADY. So, ano yung area 1 ko? I will now have 15. Okay? Ano ngayon yung D? Okay, alamin natin, ano? Okay. Mula daw dito sa baba hanggang sa taas, that is 12.45. Mula baba hanggang centroid, that's 8.9. So, pag minus ko yung dalawa, iyon yung aking D1. So, ang D1 ko is 12.45 minus 8.9. So, that's 3.55. Okay? So, I have here 3.55. Okay? Next, ano naman yung D2? So, yung D2, okay, mula dito hanggang baba, that's 8.9. At mula baba hanggang dun sa centroid ng second cross-section is 8.1. So, pag minus ko, 8.9 minus 8.1. So, that's 0.8. Okay? And then, for the D3, okay, so mula dito is 8.9 and then mula dito is 3.75. So, yung difference nilang dalawa, that's 8.9 minus 3.75. So, that's 5.75. 15. Okay, so those are the 3. So it means for the D1, I will have it as 3.55 squared. So this is now for the cross-section 1. Plus, I now have for the 2. So ang B ko is 3 plus 3 plus 1.2, that's 7.2. So B, H is 1.2 cube all over 12. And then plus the area 2, which is 8.64. Okay? Multiplied it by the D2, which is 0.8 squared. So this is now for the second. And lastly, for the third, I will now have B, 1.2. H is 7.5 cube all over 12. Plus the area 3, which is 9. Multiplied it by the D3. Ang D3 ko is 5.15 squared. Okay? So, kung mapapansin nyo, lahat mayroong transfer formula na AD squared. It is because, again, the centroid of each cross-section doesn't fall on the same centroid of the whole cross-section. Okay? So, kapag ano nangyari, we need to transfer yung dating cross-section papunta dun sa bagong cross-section. Kaya, transfer formula. Okay? So, I will now have the I. Ano yung I ko? So, unahin ko. 2 times 7.5 cube all over 12 plus 15 times 3.55 squared. Okay, sige, gawin natin. I-ano ko, no? Ayan. Para makita natin. Okay? So, unahin ko, 2 times 7.5 cube. Okay? Cube all over 12 plus, I will now have 15 multiplied by 3.55 and then squared. Okay? So, I now have this one, value, 259.35. So, I will try to store it. So, shift RCL para store ko sa A. Okay? And the next, I will now have the B. So, that is 7.2 times 1.2 cube. Okay? All over, 12. And then plus 8.64 multiplied by 0.8 and then squared. Okay? So, again, you will be having here 6 point and then shift store sa B. Okay, and then lastly, I will now have 1.2 times 7.5 cube all over 12 plus 9 times 5.15 squared. Okay? So, I will now have this value. And then, shift store sa C. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yung sum ng tatlo, alpha A plus alpha B plus alpha C. So, equal to 546.81. Okay? So, I have here 546.80. 81 ba? 80. Okay. 81. Okay? Inches to the fourth. So, meron akong I. Okay? So, now, ano na ngayon yung aking Q? Meron na akong I eh. So, ano na gagamitin kong Q? So, if I am asking for the maximum shear stress on the section, it means you are going to have it on the neutral axis. So, dito, no? So, nag-cut tayo dito. Kasi ito yung neutral axis mo. Then, mamimili ka, taas or baba. Kahit ano yung piliin mo, you should get the same answer. Kaya lang pag yung baba kasi yung pinili ko, okay, ang dami, no? Kukunin ko yung moment nito, kukunin ko yung moment nun, kukunin ko yung moment nun. Okay, anyway, try natin ulit mamaya if you will get the same answer, okay? But for now, ito yung pinakamadali, no? So, you try to get for this cross-section, okay? Ito yung kukuhanan natin ng Q, okay? So, we will be having that for the Q, okay? So, for the Q, I will now have area multiplied it by the Y. So, ang area ko dito, it's, by the way, mula dito hanggang dun, ilan na lang to? Okay? So, yung total distance ko is 7.5 plus 1.2 plus 7.5. So, 7.5 plus 1.2 plus 7.5, and that's 16.2. 8.9 na to, so minus ako ng 8.9. So, I have here 7.3 inches. Okay? So, ang area ko is 2 inches by 7.3. Okay? Siyempre, yung kalahati ng 7.3, nandoon yung aking centroid, ano? Okay? So, mula dito, ayan, baguhin ko, hanggang dun. So, that's equals to kalahati ng 7.3 or 7.3 all over 2. Okay? So, multiply it by 7.3 all over 2. So, this is now our Q. So, that is equals to 2 times 7.3 times 7.3 all over 2. So, you can have it as 53.29. Again, that is inches cube squared, and then inches cube. Okay, so meron na akong Q. Ano yung gagamitin kong B? So, from the centroid, ito yung dito kasi mapuputol, dito mapuputol. Okay, so ibig sabihin, ito yung gagamitin nating B. So, which is 2 inches. Okay, so pwede na natin ngayon makuha yung shear stress. So, again, the V is 12. Okay, gagawin kong 1,000 para maging pounds. And then VQ, which is 53.29 inches cube. Okay, all over I. So, ang I natin is 546.81 inches to the fourth. And then the B, which is 2 inches. Okay, so the shear stress for this one is equals to 584.74 PSI. Okay, so I have now the shear stress. Okay, now, again, kapag nandun ka sa centroid, you take the centroid. So, you can choose yung Q up or down. Kahit alin. Okay, you try. Okay, try natin, you try natin to. Okay. Gamitin natin yung bottom parts. Okay, so let's have siguro this part. Okay. Gamitin natin to. Okay, nawala yung ibang lines, Actually, na-record ko na to, kaya lang hindi pala naka-open yung aking microphone. So, I have to repeat. Okay? So, ulitin natin yon. Again, kaya lang this time, kunin ko kasama yung area na to, So, hindi pala ganong kita. Okay, this area. Okay? So, yung distance na yon, yung height na to. Okay, mula dito hanggang dun. Okay? Mula dito hanggang taas, that is 7.5. Ito is 7.3. So, this is 0.2. Okay? So, ang area niya is 2 multiplied by 0.2. Tapos, mula dito sa centroid, yung kanyang distance doon, kalahati ng 0.2 or 0.2 all over 2. Plus, yung second area, so, ang base niya is 7.2. Ang height niya is 1.2. So, we have 0.2 plus 1.2 all over 2. Okay, and then plus yung third area, we can have it 1.2 by 7.5. Multiply it by 0.2 plus 1.2 plus 7.5 all over 2. Okay, so you should still get the same or equally the same, So, that's 53.30 if you are going to compute for that. Okay, so they are almost the same. Okay, so decimal lang yan, so it's either dun sa ating rounding. Okay, anyway, so the point is, if you are going to take the shear stress on the centroid, whether you choose up or down, you will still get the same. Okay, ito na ba yung maximum, sir? Hindi pa. Okay, bakit? Balikan natin yung formula. Okay, again, yung formula natin ng shear. Okay, o FB. Okay, ayan. Kasi FB is bending, so ito shear. So, pwedeng ganyan, So, again, we have VQ all over IB. Okay? So, para ma-maximize natin si FB, it's either this one is in maximum. Okay? Ito kasing dalawa, yung V tsaka yung I, constant yan. Hindi yan nagbabago. Constant yung V, constant yung I sa buong cross-section, so hindi siya nagbabago. Pero itong dalawa, yung Q tsaka yung B, nagbabago. So it's either you take the maximum Q, that's one variable, or you take the minimum V. Okay? Minimum B. Okay? Kaya lang yung B natin, minimum ba? Yung B na ginamit kasi natin is 2 inches. Hindi siya minimum. So, possible na wala dun yung maximum shear stress. Okay? Unlike dun sa mga previous example natin. Ano? Sa mga previous example kasi natin, for example, I have here the T section. Okay? Tapos, andito yung centroid. Once you take the Q on the centroid, automatic na yun yung maximum Q. Okay? So, kinuha natin to. Okay? Or yung baba, no? Either taas or baba. Tapos, yung centroid mo, nag-fall pa siya dun sa minimum B. So, kapag ganon, nandun ka na sa centroid, tapos, yung centroid, nandun pa yung minimum B or yung minimum width. So, nandun na yung maximum mo. Okay? Nagkataon dito sa problem natin, yung centroid natin, hindi siya nag-fall dito sa minimum 1.2. Okay? So, what we will do now is, consider natin to is based on Qmax. Okay? So, pangalawa, i-base naman natin based on i-Qmin naman natin. Qmin. Bmin. Okay, B minimum. Which is equals to 1.2 yung B. Kaya lang, ano yung area? Okay? Ano lang ba yung area na mayroong 1.2? Okay? Ito lang yung area na yun. Mula dyan, ito lang yung area na yun. Okay? So, iyon yung ating Q for Bmin. Okay? So, check natin. Again, the Q. So, 1.2 area by 7.5. Ano nga yung moment arm niya mula dito mula sa centroid? 0.2 plus 1.2 plus 7.5 all over 2. So, you have now here the Q. And then the Q is equals to 46.35 inches cube. And then, pwede na ako ngayon kumuha ng FV. Okay? So, again, V, 12,000 pounds. Q is 46.35 all over the IB. So, ang I natin is 546.81. At ang B na gagamitin ko is 1.2. Okay? So, I have now the FV is equals to 12,000 times 46.35 all over 546.81 times 1.2. So, you can have 847.64 PSI. Okay? So, again, nakakuha ulit ako ng isa. Okay? So, again, based in the B minimum and based on the Q maximum. So, ano yung gagamitin ko? So, I have here the FV max. Okay? So, equals to 847.64 PSI. So, this is now the answer for the problem. Okay po? So, I'll give you 5 minutes to copy. Okay. So, let's have this. Okay. Determine the wood. Wait for a while. Yan. Okay. The manufactured wood beam carries a uniformly distributed load of intensity W sub O. Determine the largest safe value of WO if the maximum shear stress of wood is limited to 300 psi. Okay. Now, ayan, kung makikita natin yung NA natin, binigay na niya kung nasan gitnang gitna, binigay na rin niya yung I. Okay, so you may verify, no? You may verify. Pero ito yung sinasabi natin na as we can see, yung pinaka-centroid natin, nag-fall na siya dito kung saan minimum din yung width B, which is 0.75. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, sure tayo na yung area, yung Q na kukunin natin, okay, I am pretty sure eto na yun. Okay, either up or either down. Okay, mamimili ka lang sa dalawa, no? Okay, but first, we may draw the shear and then the moment diagram for this. Okay, so lagyan natin up, up, up. Ayan. Okay. And then maybe here would be the shear and maybe here would be the moment. Okay. So, let's have tried this. Kaya lang hindi natin alam pa yung reaction. No? So, we need to take the reactions for this. Okay. Since very symmetrical sila, mapapansin nyo, no? Very symmetrical. Paghahatian lang nila yung dalawa. So, again, that would be the total length is 6. So, yung reaction nito would be W, O, and then L, which is 6, all over 2. Okay? Or that's equal to, ilan nga yun? 3, W, O. Okay? So, you have here the 3, W, O. Okay? And then this is 3, W, O then. Okay? So, that's it. So, we can have that reaction. Next. So, punta tayo sa moment shear diagram. Oops. Wait for a while. Kunin ko yung aking ruler. So, so, since ito is pababa, so I can have mula doon yung area nito. So, ang area nun is WO multiplied by 1. So, this is negative WO. Okay? And then, yung part na to, okay, tataas kasi siya. Okay? So, that would be negative WO plus 3 WO. And that's equals to 2 WO. So, this point is 2 WO. Okay? And then, bababa ulit ako from 2 WO, bababa ako ng 4 times WO. So, 4 WO. So, that's negative 2 WO. So, somewhere here. So, I will now have that 2 negative 2 WO. Okay? And then, aangat ulit ako from negative 2 WO. Aangat ako ng 3 WO. So, you can have it as WO. Okay? So, angat ako doon. So, I have there WO. Okay? And then, bababa ako from WO. Bababa ako ng WO times 1/4. So, minus WO. So, that would become equal to 0. So, you have now close it. Okay? So, this is now the shear diagram for our beam. Okay, hindi ko na i-drawing yung moment diagram, ano? By the way, hindi naman nga pala siya kailangan. So, again, ang concern natin for this problem is only shear. So, okay na yan, hindi na ako magmo-moment diagram. Okay? So, now, We know, okay, that our V maximum, okay, is equals to what? To 2WO. Okay? So, iyan na yung ating V. Okay. Next. Meron na tayong I. So, eto na yung ating I. So, we can have this our I. Okay. Yung Q na lang. Okay? So, we need to find for the value of Q. Okay? So, Q. I will have it as area 1 and I will have it as area 2. So, yung area 1 ko, so ang area niya is 5 inches multiplied by 0.75. And then, ang moment arm niya mula dito, kalahati mula dito hanggang dun. Okay? So, you can have it as 2. So, you have it as 2 plus 0.75 all over 2. Okay? And then, plus yung second area. So, ang second area ko is 0.75 multiplied it by 2. Okay? And then, ang moment arm ko is 2 all over 2. Okay? Half nun. So, I have now the Q equal to 5 times 0.75 times 2 plus 0.75 all over 2. Oops. Plus 0.75 times 2 times 1. Okay? So, I have the Q equals to 10.41 inches cube. Okay? So, meron na akong V, Q, meron na akong I, and then B ko. Okay? Ang B natin, again, ano nga yung B natin? That is 0.75. Okay? So, I have now the FV. Okay? Sure na ako. FB max equals to VQ all over IB. So, we have FB max 300 PSI is equals to, I will now have the V. Pero ang V ko is 2W. Okay? And then we have here the Q, which is 10.41 all over the I. Ang I ko is equals to 46.7 at ang B ko ay 0.75. Okay. So, sir, paano yan sa CalQ para makita nyo, no? So, sa CalQ, if we are going to do that, okay. Oops. Okay. So, ang gagawin ko, so 300. So, I will now have equal. Okay. Parang okay, equal alpha and then equal, no? So, 2W. So, gagawin ko sa W, it would be X. Okay. Yung variable na hinahanap ko. Okay. And then, multiplied by 10.41 all over 46.7 multiplied by 0.75. Okay? Now, to solve for X, yung function ng calculator nyo meron ganito. Shift and then solve. Tatanong siya value ng X. Okay? I-zero mo na lang yan. Okay? Pero kung positive, kung quadratic, dalawa yung magiging values niyan eh. So, okay na yan, 0. And then you press equal. So, you can solve 504.68. So, this is in pounds per feet. Okay? So, you can have 504.68. So, W is 504.68. Again, since this is uniform, so that is pound per foot. Okay? So, this is now the answer for this problem. Okay? So, again, I'll give you 5 minutes to copy. Okay, so let's have this problem. For the beam shown in the figure, find the shear stress at a point 30 millimeters above the bottom of the beam. Okay, so again, meron na tayong I, binigay na yung I. So, ang kukunin na lang natin dito, of course, is the maximum shear force. Okay, so let's try to have okay, point C, no? At section point C. Ibig sabihin, ang kukunin natin, hindi pala maximum. Sorry, not the maximum. But it is still the shear stress at the bottom at the point C. Okay, so we need to find the shear force on the point C. Okay, so again, maganda tayo ng shear diagram. Okay, at point C. Okay, so let's try to draw. But first, kunin ko muna yung aking reactions. Okay? So, summation ako ng moment about A. Okay? So, equal to 0. So, we can have it as 14 times 1.5. Okay? And then this one would be your RD. And this would become your RA. Okay? So, minus RD multiplied it by 4.5 equal to 0. So you can have it the RD equal to 14 times 1.5 divided by 4.5. So you can have it 4.67. Okay, and then again we can have it summation forces, vertical equal to 0, upward is positive. We can have it RA minus 14 plus RD, which is 4.67, equal to 0. So you can have the RA equal to, so you can 14 minus 4.67, 9.33. Okay, again, this is in kilonewton. With this, pwede na akong mag-draw ng shear and then the moment diagram. So angat ako doon ng 9.33. So you can have it as 9.33. Walang force hanggang doon. Then baba ako ng 9.33 minus 14. 9.33 minus 14. So that is negative 4.67. Okay. So no, ang pangit. 4.67. So, negative 4.67. No other force load mula dun hanggang dun. And then taas ka 0. Okay? Ngayon, ang hinahanap natin, ano yung point na to? So again, iyan yung V mo equals to 4.67 kilonewton. Okay? So now meron tayong I. So what we will have is now the B. Kaya lang yung B natin ang sabi is just 30 millimeters above the bottom. So mula dito, nandito lang. Ito lang yung kukunin kong area. Okay? So that is just 30 millimeters from there. Okay, so ang natitira dito, it's equal to, ilan na to? Oops. So that's 62, so that's 32.5. Okay? So now we can solve for the value of Q. So for the Q, so that is the area multiplied it by the Y. So nasa baba ako. Okay? So you can have it as 100 by 30. And then its moment arm is 32.5 plus 30 all over 2. So you have now the Q. 100 times 30 times 32.5 plus 30 all over 2. So you can have it as, okay, 2500 mm cube. Okay? So now I have now the FB or the shear stress. So again, that is VQ all over IB. So ang V natin is 4.67. Kaya lang gawin natin Newton, kaya times 10 to the 3 para maging Newton. Okay? Again, Q 142,500 all over I, which is equals to 1.93 times 10 to the 6 mm to the 4th. How about the B? So, syempre, kung saan mo kinat, dito mo siya kinat. So, ang B mo doon is 100. Okay, so multiply natin by 100. So, you can now have the FV equal to 4.67 times 10 to the 3 times 142, 500 all over 1.93 times 10 to the 6 multiplied it by 100. Okay, so you can have it as 3.45. Again, you can have it as in mega Pascal. Okay, so that's it for this problem. Okay, 4.67 times 10 to the 3, 142,500. 19.3 times 10 to the 6, I multiply by 100. Okay, so you can have this one. 3.45 megapascal. Tama ba yung Q? Wait lang ha. 30 times 32.5 plus 30 all over 2. 142,500. Okay. 4.67. 1.93. Sorry. It's 19.3. So, it's 19. Okay. It's 19.3 times 10 to the 6 times 100. Okay. So, that's 3. That's equal to 0.345 MPa. Okay, or 345 kPa. Okay, so whatever your answer would be, I would accept that. Okay, as long as you get the same value. Okay, so again, I'll give you 5 minutes to copy. Okay, so let's have this problem. The box beam in figure A supports a concentrated loads 2P and P. Compute the maximum allowable value of P if the working stresses in bending and shear are 1,000 and 100 PSI respectively. Okay, so this time magkasama na siya, no? So, meron tayong criteria para sa shear, meron tayong criteria para sa moment or para sa bending. Okay, So, maganda rito, nagbigay na siya ng mga reactions. Okay, so meron na siyang reactions. No need to compute. Pero kapag wala, syempre kakompetent. So, we will not do that. That would already part of the statics. Okay? So, pwede na nating i-drawing na lang yung shear and then the moment diagram itself. Okay? So, sige, maglagay ako dyan at those points. So, you have here the shear and maybe here is our moment. Okay? So, unahin natin. So, I will now have 0.5. Okay? So, 0.5 of P. Wala kang ibang load. Bababa ako from 0.5 minus 2P. So, that's equals to negative 1.5 of P. So, negative 1.5 of P. Wala akong ibang values. Angat ako, negative 1.5 of P. Okay, plus 2.5 of P equals to P. So, I have here that P. And walang ibang load, baba ako ng P. So, you can have it at 0. So, this is now my shear diagram. Okay. Next, let us now draw the moment diagram. So, from that 0.5, itong area na to. So, 0.5 of P multiplied by 5 feet. So, that's 2.5 P. Okay. So, you will be having here 2.5 of P. So, from 2.5 of P, ima-minus ko yung 1.5 of P multiplied by 5. So, you will result to negative 5P. So, you can have there negative 5P. And then, from negative 5P, i-add natin yung 5 times P. So, you will be having here 0. Okay? So, nag-close naman yung ating shear and then the moment diagram. So, this is now our moment diagram. Okay? So, this time, meron tayong dalawang criteria. So, the FB would become equal to MC all over I. Again, you can have it 1,000 PSI. And then, the FB equals to 100 PSI, which is equals to VQ all over IB. Okay? So, for now, ang kailangan natin is to solve for the moment of inertia. Okay? So, moment of inertia po, okay, since alam ko kagad na nandito yung centroid niya, no? Andyan na yung neutral axis. Okay? So, ang pwede kong gawin, mas madali, ano, kung naano kayo sa statics. Okay, itong malaking box, ko-consider ko muna siya ng buo. Kasi yung moment of yung centroid niya nandito din. So, wala akong transfer formula. And then, ima-minus ko na lang itong butas. Okay? I will have to less that. Okay? So, pag niless ko kasi yon, okay, bakit ko ginawa yon? Pinakamadali na to kasi yung centroid niya, dun din naman nagfo-fall. Okay? Dito rin nagfo-fall, so wala ka ng transfer formula. Okay? So, what I'm trying to say is yung Ix natin would become equals to I ng whole minus I ng whole. Okay? So, yung I ko, that is 8 BH cube all over 12 minus I ng whole 6 8 cube all over 12. So, I have now the Ix. Okay? So, my Ix would be all over 12 minus BH cube all over 12. So, that is 410.67 again inches to the fourth. Okay? So, I can have also the value of C. Parehas lang yung top and bottom, no? So, parehas lang yan. So, C equal to 5 inches. 5 inches. Okay? So, with that, pwede na ako mag-compute ng FB. So, FB equals to 1,000 PSI. M ko, ano ang maximum M? 2.5 o 5? So, I have here the 5P. Kaya lang take note of this. Yung 5P mo, ang unit niyan is pound. Feet. Kasi feet to eh. Okay? So, kailangan i-convert natin siya sa inch. Bakit? Kasi naka-inch yung ating stress, pati naka-inch yung ating I. Okay? Pati yung C natin, ano yung value ng C? 5. Again, inches din yun. Okay? All over, MC all over I. So, we can have it 410.67. So, let's now try to find the value of P based on the bending. Okay? So, yan. Try natin. We can have it as 1,000 equal to 5. Again, you can have it as X times 12 times 5 all over 410.67. So, solve equal. So, 1368.9. So, you can have 1,368.9. Again, this is in pounds. So, meron na akong P based on the flexure or based on the bending. So, I will now have based on shear. Okay? So, again, to solve for that, I need to find the Q. So, mamimili na lang ako up or down. Okay? Ito na lang sigurong taas. So, hatiin ko siya sa tatlo, isa. Okay? So, I have here the area 1. I have here the area 1. Okay? And I have here the area 2. Okay? Yung dalawa na yun. Okay? Next. So, ang area na 1 ko, okay? Again, this is, kung 10 yung buo, 8 yung butas, so meron akong tigwa 1 dito. 1 dito. 1 inch. 1 inch. And dito rin, meron din ako ditong 1 inch. Okay? So, ang area ko is 8 multiplied it by 1. Okay. Ano ang distance niya? Mula dito, hanggang dun. Okay? If this is 5, kalahati ng 1, so this is 4.5. Okay? Plus, yung dalawa kong area, parehas lang naman sila. So, I just have 2 areas. Okay? Ano yung mga area nila? Again, this is 1 inch. Okay? And ito, yung height nito, kasi 8 to eh. No? So, 4 to. So, 1. Okay? And then, its moment arm is kalahati ng 4. So, 2. So, this is now my Q. So, I have here 8 times 1 times 4.5 plus 2 times 1 times 4 times 2. So, I have here 52. Okay? Inches cube. Okay? So, now, I will now have the B. Ano yung value ng B ko? So, meron akong 1 dito and meron akong 1 doon. So, ang value ng B ko is 2 inches. So, pwede ko na siyang i-substitute. 100 PSI is equals to V. Ano ang maximum V ko? P or 1.5P. So, I have here 1.5 of P. VQ all over I, which is 410.67 multiplied it by B. So, ang B ko is 2 inch. So, I now have the value of P equal to. So, let us check on the calculator. So, 100 equal 1.5 of alpha x times 52 all over 410.67 times 2. Okay? And then, solve equal to 1,053. So, 1,053. Again, this is in pounds. I have now the value of P based on the shear. So, mamimili tayo. Okay? Dapat yung pipiliin mong P, pasado or mas mababa sa dalawang values. Okay? For example, pipiliin ko tong 1368.9. Pasado siya sa bending kasi equal lang siya doon. Pero sa shear ba papasa siya? Hindi. Kasi mas malaki yung load na 1 1368 kumpara dito. Maximum lang ng shear is 1053 eh. So, this is not the correct answer. Okay. Now, let's try 1053. Sa shear, pasado siya. Okay? Kasi dyan mo siya pinili eh. Sa bending ba, pasado siya? Pasado. Kasi 153 lang siya, pero ang maximum ng bending, 1368. So, this is now the answer. So, the Pmax would become equal to 1,053 pounds. Okay? So, this is now the answer. So, you may have to copy for 5 minutes before we proceed with another problem.